Welcome back to Fast Politics, Rick Wilson.
Hello, Molly Jong-Fast. Good to see you again.
Always.
So many days have passed.
That's right. Tom Holman. You may know him as the fel-
Future recipient of a one-way trip to The Hague.
okay, so the guy who runs jailing everybody from congressional candidates to members of Congress to
Sure.
people who are here legally. Pretty much, he's our jailer in chief. What's the news that just broke about that guy?
You know, it turns out that the FBI, undercover FBI agents, offered Tom Holman a $50,000 payment, bribe, if you will. I think that's the word we still use in America.
Yeah,
In
there's
this
technically bribery is still illegal.
hypothetically, unless you're a
Yes,
member of the Trump cabal, in which case.
right,
And I don't know how this happened, Molly, with the rigid ethical standards of today's Department of
right.
Justice and FBI.
There- yes,
Somehow, this
somehow.
investigation got dropped. Just by some strange legal
I,
twist of fate. Tom
so,
Holman walks free.
so this is a story from MS Now that got broke today.
Yep.
But I just, when we talk about this DOJ dropping investigation, so we had the Tom Holman investigation
Right.
dropped. We had all the charges against Trump dropped. We had
Jeffrey Epstein investigation covered
Asian.
up.
Well, who even knows where that is? But we did
Right.
have one Ghislaine Maxwell moved from a high security to a
Non-security.
spa, right? I
Yes.
mean, basically a spa with
Yep.
the,
Yoga.
no one, right, and no one else who who has a sex trafficking. You can't. The kind of criminal she is does not belong in the kind of jail she is in now.
However, as we now know, her status as a sexual offender was changed so she could go there.
Oh,
And when Kash Patel was asked last week in a congressional hearing, how did that happen? His answer was, there was a lot of legalism, but it was like a humana, 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 humana,
yeah.
humana, humana.
Yeah. And Kash Patel, I mean, the Kash Patel hearing, I'd love to go back to that for a minute because one of the incredible things about that hearing was basically he doesn't know anything, which is certainly possible,
It's in the range of
or
possibility.
he is not telling the truth about anything, also possible.
Much more likely, Occam's razor seems to point that direction.
Is there something behind the third door?
Yes, he's leading or helping to lead a massive government cover-up where he recognizes that every word out of his mouth in a congressional hearing is probably going to be perjury, and he better hope Donald Trump stays alive for 4 more years so that he
To
doesn't go to
pardon
federal
him.
prison.
So you can get
Because
a
it will
preemptive
not,
pardon.
yeah, and I will just say this, Molly. I hope that we have an election in 2028. I hope a Democratic candidate wins, and I hope that they definitely, positively never consider Merrick Garland for any role.
Yeah,
Because I
I think
want somebody who goes in there on day 1, and then we're having arrests on day 3.
I don't want to squander any time on Merrick
Right.
Garland.
By
I
all
think we've
accounts, a lovely
squandered enough
man, moving
time.
on. Yeah.
Right, on Merrick Garland, but I do think this is not okay. Now, what I
No.
think I'd love to talk about Kimmel with you for another minute
Yeah, sure.
because we're seeing in real time that pushback works
Yep.
and that caving makes if you cave, you have no legal remedy for anything you do.
That's right.
Because when you cave, you enter an illegal agreement with Donald J. Trump, who
Correct.
will never be satisfied by what you give him.
Molly, listen, I mean, if Bob Iger, who before this was considered like a really good CEO before this,
Right.
people thought of Bob
Who's
Iger as an ethical and smart guy. I
a guy
understand that.
whose wife has a free speech charity.
And
Continue.
who runs a journalism program. Yes, a free
Yes.
speech journalism program.
Yes.
When Bob Iger did this, first off, Bob Iger was around for the agreement on the ABC payment. Okay.
Right.
The $15 million settlement that was not necessary, that went to cover the Stephanopoulos case. It was not necessary. As
Right.
the
All
Times
these
proved
little
this week,
payments. Right.
right? As the Times proved this week, say no, tell them that fuck off and move
Yeah.
on. But
Wall Street Journal, New York Times,
yeah,
both did the right thing and
yep.
both are winning in court or have
Listen,
won.
Trump threatened to sue me for $1 billion week before last, and my response has been literally, my lawyer said in his response, "Go fuck yourself." Iger went to the altar of shareholder value and said, "Oh, I've got to." But here's what's going to happen. Watch what happens to Disney stock tomorrow. The early selling is already ugly. And it's going to be really hard for the MAGA masses to wake up and go, oh, the company that we hate because they're so woke about the gays.
Right.
Remember, DeSantis and the MAGA people and had a war with Disney because Disney is libtard, woke, culture war, blah, blah.
Right.
They're not going to go out and meme stock Disney.
Right. No,
And
they're
so Bob
not.
Iger is about to get the worst of all possible worlds. And then when that's over, he's going to get a phone call from Trump saying, hey, put my boy Don Jr. on the board.
Right.
What's he going to do? What's he going to do?
Right. And that is what we're seeing across the board when it comes to making peace with Trump. And before we talk about the tech bars, I want to just do one more beat on the Paramount merger because I think it's so important. There's a woman called Sherry Redstone, daughter of Sumner Redstone.
Right.
She decides she's got to sell her company to the to Skydance, which is
Skydance.
owned by big Trumpy the Ellisons, second richest man in the world.
Yep.
So she does these three things, right? She settles rich. Well, it's back and forth, right? But
It's ping
richest
pong.
or
Yeah, there's a little
second
ping pong
richest.
there.
Yeah,
Close
he's
enough.
very rich. He's richer than we are.
Yes.
She does three things, right? She pays off this frivolous CBS lawsuit,
Right.
which is bullshit, which she would have won.
Yep.
She cancels Stephen Colbert because on high they
Yep.
told her to. And the third thing she does is she puts this ombudsman at CBS. Okay.
A thought police representative approved by the administration
Right.
at CBS.
She does these three things. She paves the way.
And,
She gets
and
the
she has to hire Barry Weiss.
Right. Well, she gets she's gone now, but because Sherry has gotten the deal done, she's gotten her money, she's got out.
Yeah.
She thinks at the time this is not such a big deal because she wants to get the merger done. But what we see looking back is that every single small decision is like this gets us to where we are today. And so the road to authoritarianism is paved with just small decisions to go along to get along.
It's paved with merger ambitions.
Right.
And look, I think that the backstory of Nexstar and Sinclair going after Jimmy Kimmel through Disney is because they want their own merger ambitions approved. Nexstar in particular wants to merge with Tegra, which is another chain of TV stations.
Right, of course.
So they're going to play the whole MAGA role to the hilt.
Right.
All of this, if your God alone is quarterly stock report,
Right.
then you're going to say, screw it. We may hurt some people, we may break democracy, but at least our shareholders will be happy.
Right. But ultimately, and this is why I want to talk about the tech visas, the H-1B visas, and the $100,000 a year price tag that Donald Trump has just put on them. So a few things about this. It's yet another illegal thing from the Trump administration.
Yes.
President does not set visas. That is Congress. Now, Congress has given up doing anything because they don't want Trump to be mad at them. But there still are courts that are not completely in Trump's pocket. So
That is
all
correct.
of this is illegal. But more importantly, and I think this is what I really want you to talk about, this presidential proclamation is written so poorly that, believe it or not, nobody even knows what the fuck they mean. So here we have...
you can run it through ChatGPT and it would say, this is obviously written by a meth-addled raccoon. This is
probably
crazy.
written by ChatGPT. And
Yeah,
ChatGPT
probably.
is not where it needs to be at this moment, as we're all seeing.
Molly, here's the thing. The H-1B visas, and I know that Stephen Miller is at the center of this particular thing.
Right.
And Navarro is at the center of this particular thing. So two people who are not notoriously, shall we say, Nobel Prize economics winners in waiting. They're not really good at this.
Though I do think it's important. Navarro is a lot stupider than Stephen Miller.
Oh yeah, Navarro sets a very low, but it's a low bar. But Stephen Miller's not stupid; he's just evil.
Yeah,
but
Navarro
here's the thing:
is working a whole crazy thing that we don't. Yeah, go on.
He's the RFK of trade.
Of trade, yeah, that's right.
So Molly, I mean, what they don't understand is when you read it, it's like, but I can waive this if you're nice to me. This is another Trump bribery scheme. But an awful lot of those H-1B visa workers who come here in Silicon Valley, in the tech industry, a huge number of them are here as nurses and
Right.
healthcare aides, because that is a giant, giant market that American workers do not want to and will not fill. So
Right.
these nurses who are coming over from Ireland and India and Germany and all these other places, they're going now we're going to blow a big hole in that market. And I'm sorry, Elon, ChatGPT cannot replace nurses and home health care aides.
Well, but I also think, look, and Melania, it was an H-1B visa. So let it, a genius visa. And so was
The
Elon
Epstein,
Musk.
she came in on an Epstein visa, right?
Right,
Is that
exactly.
what
I
it's
don't know.
called?
I think it's called an Einstein visa and not an Epstein visa, but very nice.
I
But
get
the
confused.
but the point I think is that these tech companies have worked so hard to suck up to Trump. I mean, that we had Tim Apple give Donald Trump a 24-carat tchotchke to
Yes.
put in the White House.
I mean,
And
think about my,
still
you've got Mark Zuckerberg, Jensen Wang, Tim Apple, Larry Ellison,
yeah,
Jeff
though Larry
Bezos,
Ellison's doing better on this than
all of
anyone
these
else.
people, H-1B visa workers make up a meaningful fraction of their employees.
And
It's not like a
Amazon is
few,
one of the
it's a lot.
biggest users of H-1B visas.
Absolutely. And you know who else uses H-1B visas? Donald Trump.
Right,
An awful
right.
lot of the hospitality workers he has at Mar-a-Lago and Bedminster and these other clubs and these other buildings are here on H-1B visas.
And
Now look,
wives.
yeah, an H-1B visa costs $5,000 to right now. That seems like a lot, but it's not that much for most companies. But $100,000 means that Trump will have them in his pocket and say, "Okay, you're going to have to either pay me a bribe or your company's going to buy into my crypto or whatever scam of the week he's running." And it's also, and I know this is going to upset the MAGAs, but an awful lot of people who come to this country on H-1B visas meaningfully contribute to our economy. They pay
Right,
taxes here.
right, right.
It's also gonna blow a hole in the economy. And it's just nuts. We're gonna send very talented scientists and computer science folks and medical researchers to China. That's where they're going to go. They're
But
going
I
to go
think
to China.
right, but I also think it's important to realize here that when this presidential proclamation was issued,
Yeah.
there was so much confusion that different companies sent emails to their employees like, "Don't leave the country, get back as soon as you can."
Yeah.
There and it's gonna be like a nightmare in airports, and also, it's probably not legal, and so it's gonna get overturned in court.
But
So it's
yeah,
like this is like I feel like it's such a great example of Trumpism. It's like it is like Banana Republic stuff.
I can tell you that the chaos it's causing is amateur hour and stupid in every way. But it is causing a lot of people. Yeah, I know again the MAGA folks think, oh well, if foreigners are afraid, it must be good. But it's causing a
Right.
lot of fear and chaos and disruption. There will be an economic ripple effect on this because they're stupid. These
Yeah.
people who are doing this are stupid. And again, if you want to help China become the dominant economic power in the world,
Right.
this is how you do it. You
Yeah, I
throw out
think
talented people who wanna come to America and do research and do work and pay taxes and who are here, legally. 'Cause, remember, this is also reveals part of the MAGA lie. "Oh, legal immigration is fine." No, it's not for them.
right. No, they don't like
It's
illegal
not.
immigration.
This is what they're
Yeah.
trying to do, and I gotta tell you, my partner, Renee, my fiancée, she's got scientists from all over the world who are now paralyzed. They're like, "I can't go home. I can't come back. What the hell do I do?"
Right. We're already seeing the numbers, right? That the economy is
Oh,
not the economy it was 9 months ago. We
dude.
see the tariffs. We saw the Bureau of Farm Labor Statistics just delayed
They just
an
said, "We're not gonna
inflation.
talk about inflation, and maybe it'll just go away."
Right. And I feel like you don't if the last head of the bureau got fired for bad numbers and then you decide not to release numbers, that's probably because those numbers are not great.
I am guessing if inflation had dropped significantly, they would be having a ribbon-cutting ceremony, they'd be setting off fireworks. It would have
Yeah.
been the "See, I told you so, blah, blah, blah."
And part of Trumpism's obsession right now, Trump's obsession with crime, right? His obsession with crime, his obsession with rolling in the National Guard. to different cities is because he thinks crime is a winner for him, and he doesn't have anything else because he's underwater. Talk to me about those polls.
Oh my god! Listen, my son Andrew is a brilliant young pollster, and about a month ago he says to me, "I think we're at the bottom. I don't know how he goes any lower than this on the economy in particular." Trump is now so far underwater on the economy. He's 27% negative on
Right,
inflation and prices.
and that was his big winner. That was the thing
Yep.
where he might have been people didn't like this, they didn't like that, but they always thought he was
He was a
better on the
good
economy.
businessman. He understood the economy. Um,
Yeah,
and he's upside down on everything now. 51% of Republicans have a negative or very negative view of the
right,
economy. I mean, he is, and his approval ratings now are in the mid 30s, mid to high 30s. And if you look at the correlation of Trump's approval and the economic numbers, it is very strong and it is going down very quickly. Nothing there are no upside numbers. About a month ago, he was still net favorable on protecting the border.
right,
Even that's underwater now. The whole thing is collapsing. And this is why I tell Democrats, do not be afraid now to confront him.
right.
Eventually, even his Republican, minions in the House and Senate, they're going to have to run for the exits at some point and go, I got to protect myself, boss.
When you watch these companies cave to him, you have to realize, like, and I think Target is a great example. So
Sure.
Target went anti-DEI because whatever, and
Right.
now their numbers are way down.
Yeah.
This is not rocket science. Like, people don't like this. It's not popular.
None of the things that he's doing outside of the MAGA base itself, and even inside the MAGA base, a lot of them are no longer look, the crime stuff, the racism stuff, the populism stuff, that's still pretty much worse with the base. But there's a problem he's going to have, and that he's already having. And the reason that negative economic number of even Republicans saying they're unhappy is because it's not spinnable when you're in the grocery store. When that MAGA mom who may not love wokeness is in Target or Walmart
Right.
or the gas station or the grocery store, those numbers are real. She's going to have to pay those, or the man's going to have to
Yeah.
fill his tank at $5 a gallon instead of
Yeah.
the promised $1.85 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
All of it, like, eventually, even Trump's bullshit machine collides with reality, and it's
Yeah.
colliding really ugly in the polling.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point, and that's what we're seeing, and that's why these companies need to stop being fucking
Yes,
cowards.
correct,
Rick
correct.
Wilson,
Yes, Molly.
will you come back?
You know I will every time.